Hi, back again with the demonstration. The little Viking figure here, thanks to my grandson, represents the peaceful protester facing down a line of tanks. This little dump truck, Toyota, Tonka truck, I think, sorry, represents the long column of army vehicles that this lone man bravely stopped. Think of it, one man without a gun, without a sign, if I remember correctly, stopped a long line of vehicles. And finally, the vehicles went around him. He still stood his ground. He still did a great job of protesting for freedom because he wanted freedom. What we don't know, that I understand the best of my understanding, is that no one's ever found out what happened as an individual. Did he escape? Is he living someplace in China? Did he escape and live in someplace in the United States? Was he captured in a Chinese political prisoner camp, being re-educated? Was he now perhaps parts of 3 or 4 other people? Perhaps his corneas to one person, perhaps his kidneys to another, perhaps his liver to yet a third? I don't know. But yet he stood knowing most likely it was going to happen. Well, we don't know because it was not televised, but we know after the fact what did happen by the reports of the people who survived, that after the cameras went away and the Chinese army and police cracked down, that thousands of people were arrested and hundreds, if not thousands of people were killed, massacred, machine gunned. Yeah, that's what the People's Republic of China does to dissent. So when we do nice things to the companies coming from the People's Republic of China, and that money goes back to the People's Republic of China, that is what we're saying we want to see. That is saying what we don't mind them doing, because after all, they got the money. And we do anything in this area for money, don't we? Now, why else might China come to Racine? I said earlier in the show, it's because there's quite a bit of things where they can get here that kind of sort of makes them feel at home. Right now, I think things are changing greatly in the city of Racine, and that makes me sad. I think, in my opinion, that we can sit there and talk about all the things that happened with the recall election. Go, Scott Walker! Had to say that. He's still governor. The reports out of many polling precincts that I have read on Facebook, written by people who were parts of the voter, watching what was going on in the voters situation, newspaper reports I have read in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, make me firmly believe that this election was stolen. I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that activities were purposely done in order to make sure that John Lehman won the election. You may not think so. You may have a totally different opinion. That's fine. This is my opinion, and this is what I truly think. That, to me, if I was from a dictatorship like the People's Republic of China, would make me think, hey, I can do this stuff here too, because they don't care, because they don't know what a vote is, nor do they care about their votes too much. Yeah. Oh, Hitler Youth. I'm interested too that the last election, the number of kids who should have been in school that managed to make it to my door to make sure I voted. Yeah. Who are asking for my daughter, who was not living here. In fact, she has not lived here for some time, but knew that she was registered to vote there, had not voted, and wanted curious to know if she had voted or not, or was she going to do that. Interesting. I find that fascinatingly interesting. Another thing that gets me is the whole thing in China is the control of the press, control of all outlets of information. You know, they have something called the Great Wall of China, where they can basically shut down the internet anytime they want to, preventing people from knowing what's truly going on. Sometimes I think, in my opinion, from what I understand is going on with our local cable channel, Car 25, the same thing is going on, where the powers that be, so to speak, are very much interested in being able to control the information that we get. Now, this is only a little show done by me. I bring these little props here. I rave a bit. I get in my soapbox a bit. Hey, but that's my show, which I think I can trace back historically to think people going in England and setting up soapboxes in Trafalgar Square and ranting and raving, for people standing in Berkeley, from people talking in Madison and all kinds of different places expressing their opinions on a wide variety of subjects. And that's what a democracy is. It's not everybody having to believe the same thing. In fact, that'd be pretty boring. The idea of a democracy is people being able to talk about what they think. To my opinion, it's very important to have a thriving community where that is done. I know from what I understand from reading about China and how their companies work, that they don't like coming to communities where the Chinese government might be criticized. Well, I'm here and I'm going to criticize the People's Republic of China for being what it is, a communist police state. I do not want them anywhere near Racine. They're free to go to other places that might like communist police states, like Chicago. Feel free, take it over. You couldn't do a worse job, I don't think. But I don't want them in Racine. I think it would be bad business for them to be there. And next time you pick up your iPhone and your other toys at home, just think of the 14, 15-year-old kids that make them and the horrific working conditions that they do. When you go to Walmart and you buy your next thing of China, think about sometimes the child labor that it takes to make it, the conflict metals they often mine for, the horrific examples of human rights they have in their country and what they're more than willing to do in the third world, such as Sudan, where they're arming that country so they can conduct a genocide against black natives in South Sudan. Yeah, when you give China money, that is what you're helping them to do and get by with. And finally, let me end by saying this. In the years to come, I hope this doesn't happen, but more and more sources are reporting that China will likely be who we have a war with in the years to come, 10, 15 years. I'll be dead in the ground. Unfortunately, my grandchildren will be of military age. Will the money that we give China, should they come here, be used for China? Will that money be in fact used to equip the Chinese army to perhaps kill my grandchildren or yours? Yeah. I want everybody to think about that for a moment. I don't. It won't do me any good to say it, but it needs to be said. We need to be damn right more choosy on what comes to Wisconsin, what comes to Racine, who we do business from. Because I don't care how much money they want to dump in the state. I don't care how much money they want to dump in the city of Racine. I want nothing to do with the People's Republic of China and that communist police state and the way their businesses work in China and have been shown to work in the United States. And I think everybody here should Google Chinese companies and spying and see how many times their companies get caught being front agents for their different police intelligence agencies. You can also Google cyber war in China and see how many cyber attacks China is believed to have done against the United States of America. Those are also things that we can expect more of from the company, let me retract that, from the People's Republic of China and other front groups that might come there. Wow. We can make a stand here, people, and make a difference. Hi, a quick addendum. That was all my editorial about the Chinese company coming to town. Hey, now you know how I feel about that. But back to the Root River situation. Briefly, Root Works is now a plan that's adopted by the city of Racine. Pardon me. There'll be some changes in the ordinances and some public hearings about that. We talk about all those things, and how that goes on. A lot of the stuff is simply things that have to occur within the ordinances to make the Root River plan, aka Works, work, which is fine. The question is, how is it going to be paid for? That is what I'd like to know. How is it going to be paid for? Now, I pitched a little bit, that the Chinese company might be coming to town to, say, invest in Water Street. Might be a good place for a Chinese company to invest if they wanted to buy or do water technology stuff. But I already talked about that and what I thought of that idea. The fact of the matter is that somebody is going to have to pay for things such as a new footbridge or repair of another of the old footbridge that's already crossed the river. Somebody's going to have to go and pay if the city takes over Azarian's Marina, or should the county take over Azarian's Marina. Somebody is going to have to pay for it. That all costs money. I know what's got a lot of people excited during the limited amount of public input meetings that I went to was having an ice rink downtown. Again, somebody is going to have to pay for it. How will the city see this done? Will a magical fairy show up and write a check? Will Obama give us more money? I don't think so. Will Scott Walker give us more money? No. How could the city possibly go and pay for it? Will the mayor of Racine, perhaps, lay off 10, 15, 20 policemen? Perhaps remove another fire company? Perhaps roll back more wages from different contracts that might be coming up in the near future? perhaps raise our property taxes. Somehow the money's going to have to be gathered to pay for this stuff because it doesn't come cheap. Something that the city has yet to figure out, I believe firmly, is that the days of unlimited money coming from the state of Wisconsin or the federal government is done. The city's broke. The state has a little bit of surplus, but there's a lot of things the state needs. None of them include root works. Federal government is pretty much broke, and I'm thinking we get a new president in November. At least we'll have a GOP-dominated Senate, and the free money from D.C. quits. So we should start paying attention to how this stuff plans to be paid for, because this stuff doesn't come cheap. And yes, I think there's more grants coming down the pipeline to get some stuff paid for, maybe an additional couple of million, which won't go anywhere near covering the cost of all the fun things that people involved with the root works would like to see. So the only source, as I see it, that might be showing up to pay for it is the city taxpayers. Do you want to see police and fire cut for a footbridge or an ice skating rink? Do you want to see your property taxes go up by 15% for some of these toys for the downtown Racine to play with? I don't know. I know there's a lot more important things that I think the city should be worried about, like police and fire, than a new footbridge or other things that will only benefit, as I see it, the businesses that exist in downtown Racine. You might not think so. You might be all for it. But it's important that we pay attention to what's going on, because there's a lot of things happening with the river projects as I see them, and it's important that we do pay attention and let people know what we think. Thank you so much. Goodbye.